So you just bought the game and booted up Grayzone Warfare. Well, where do you go? What do you do? Well, I'm here to tell you some tips and tricks for you to get off on your first adventure into Lemaine. So kick back and relax as I take you on a journey to higher enlightenment in Grayzone Warfare. Now the clickbait title says top 10, but that's because YouTube likes their clickbait stuff. I actually have a little bit more than that, but let's look at the surprises, shall we? Now, the first tip is when you're choosing factions. This was recently changed, so this is a brand new feature. When you're choosing a faction, you can choose 1 of 3 factions. Currently, there's no unique difference between each of them, other than the starting location. If you want to play with your friends, you have to be on the same faction. But the new feature they added is that now, if you have accidentally selected the wrong faction, either you or your buddies, you can now wipe your character. What this will do is completely reset your character from scratch. You'll have to remake your character, select a new faction, and you'll be put down back to level 1. But this is super awesome because now you can have a chance to regroup with your friends if you may have missed your chance the first go around. Now this does have a cooldown timer of an hour, so use it sparingly. Alright, so you made your character, selected the correct faction, Crimson Shield, as you should, and now you're in the middle of a firefight and you've just been hit and you don't know what keys you need to be pressing. Well, let's take a look at some of these quick slot keys. So when needing to use things quick, it's always best to be prepared. In Grayzone Warfare, there are a couple of handy keybinds already set up for you. Let's take a look at the medical supplies, for example. By holding H, you will bring up the medical dropdown, or quick slots as I call them. Now the items listed here are only the items that you have placed in your quick access containers. You can see which containers these are by looking at the lightning bolts next to the name. This is usually your vest, your belt, and your pocket. Now the same rules apply to grenades when you're trying to use them in your quick slots. So if I press G, you see that there are no grenades, even though I have 5. What we need to do is make room or put them somewhere. So we take 2 of these grenades, hold the G key, now we can swap between the 2. So we press F, and we can throw it. Wow. And last but not least, same thing happens with food. So we take those out, put our water bottle in. Now if we hold P, now we have water here. Take that out. Now we no longer have water. Now our space for the quick slots is very crucial. So I don't ever see me using food in any of these slots available. One other cool thing you can do is like with medical supplies, some of them have special cases like this QR kit. This kit is a 2x1 slot, but inside of it, it holds 4 spaces. Now, usually in your bag, you can't access stuff, but here we can access all of those items. And just to make sure, put these back up. And now we should only have these 3 items in our H bar. There you go. So the QR kits, the IFAKs, and the MFAKs all have their own spaces. So now if we hit H again, now those 2. There you go. Got our bandages, got our tourniquets. One other thing to note is that you have to have these items in your quick slots in order to heal your buddies as well. So you always want to make sure you have tourniquets at least in there so you can stop the bleeding from yourself or your friends. And then you may want to also have blood in there, kind of like this QR kit. If I didn't have this QR kit here, I would put my blood in my vest just so I have quick access to it if I have all these other things already down here. Alright, so now let's go over some of the keybinds. So if we use V as in vector, check our mag. Very nice, very cool. If we use Shift V, we check our chamber. V changes your fire rate. And page up and page down, change your zeroing distance. And if we use Alt V, we check everything on our gun. Check the chamber, we check the magazine, we check the fire rate, and we check the zeroing. M will bring up your mini-map. This allows you to get a quick view of who's around you. So if you're running to an LZ and you see somebody, take a quick peek at your map and see if it may be a friendly or not. Now let's talk about the weapon. I like this tip because it has saved me so much ammo. What I would suggest is you find an AKM or an AKM-N immediately. I went into town with an M4A1 and 2 mags and found me an AK and never stopped using it. There is so much 7.62 ammo lying about that you will never run out of ammo. I have a ton of it, and you will find it everywhere. So I suggest using the AK in the starting town, and you won't have to worry about anything. I haven't used any of my M4s yet. And if you get the AKM in, you can later upgrade it to have sight on it, like this one. This one I built straight up, all the way using Artisan, that you unlock later on in your tasks. It's very nice. And speaking of tasks, our next tip. So when trying to find your tasks, you're going to access them through your vendors. So hit tab, select vendors, go to your vendors, and there's your tasks. Here is where you'll accept and complete all of your tasks. If a task is telling you you need to hand something over, that means you need to have something in your backpack to give them. I currently don't have this because I haven't done it yet, but usually the items they have are like boxes or supplies. Each of them will have a different task. Some task will ask you to do something for somebody else. Take covert research from Labrat and reclamation from Handshake. Handshake wants me to find cargo and give it to him. Labrat, however, wants me to get that cargo and give it to her first, so that way she can investigate it. So the choice will be up to you. What you'll get, their items, and you'll lose out on the other items. As you progress through, you will unlock other vendors, and these also offer different trades, different items to buy, and different tasks for you to do. Whenever you complete a quest, your items will be given to you in a message. We'll select your message up here, go to them, select collect. Now there are a few missions where they give you items. Let's take Leave No Man Behind. Gunny will give you a tracker whenever you accept the quest. However, what you need to do is go to your messages, look for Gunny, and make sure that you grab the tracker that he gave you. One quick tip is to put quest items in your safe lock. So if I had those trackers, I'd put them in here, that way I don't lose them. If you do lose them, try to look for the vendor that gave you the quest. And they should have quest items there. So like Gunny sells trackers. So you made it to town, you killed a bunch of baddies, and you grabbed the gun I told you to grab. Well, how do you get some extra ammo for it? Well, let's take a look. Find the magazine, right click on it, and click unload. That will give you loose ammo that you can put into your own magazines. Not only can you get loose ammo from magazines that you find from looting your quarries, but you can also grab the ammo from the weapon. Now, you can't do this if the weapon is in your hand, so make sure it's anywhere else. What you'll do is you'll right-click, inspect, look for the magazine, right-click and detach, and the magazine should come into your backpack as long as you have space. And from there, right-click the magazine, unload that, and then drop that. You don't need a million magazines. This next tip is pretty quick, but it's very helpful if you're tired of hearing the helicopter all the time. When you're in town and you're looting bodies, look for a pair of yellow earmuffs. Put those babies on and enjoy the nice ride to your next objective. One thing you can do while you're out and about in the world of Lemang is you don't have to call a chopper only to your base. You can actually call a chopper to go to a different LZ from wherever you are. So from here, we could go from this one all the way over to Foxtrot. So if you're ready to go on to your next adventure, you don't have to stop at base. Just make sure you're well supplied. Now let's talk about reloading. So you have your gun, you have your mags, and you're hitting R to try to reload, but nothing's happening. Well, just like with the quick slots, what we need to do is make sure we have our ammo here in our vest. Now we can reload. One thing to note is you have to have one bullet in order to reload. So here we have zero bullets. We cannot reload. One bullet, reload. Another problem if you can't reload, one thing you need to check for is that you have the correct bullet size. So here we have a magazine here. We have our AKM. We try to reload and we can't. Well, another reason why that is because if we go over here to the AKM in, right click inspect, you can see this is 7.62 by 39 millimeter. Now, take a look at our mag here. Luckily, it's got a nice little handy dandy title here to tell you already. But if you go in even farther, you can see this is 5.45 by 39 millimeter. So this will not work, this gun. Another good one, you can split stacks. You can either go to your stack, right click it and split and choose how you want to split it from there. Or you can do shift drag. You can do the same thing. And while we're talking about inventory, control left click will put things into your items or back into your stash. This works with enemy, and this works with loot that you find in the world, even ones on the bodies. One other thing to help with your stash over here, if you're running out of room, you can stash rigs and bags inside of other items. So let's take that rig, put it in this backpack. Take this backpack, put that one in there. So now you can go way down in there. I don't know what the limitations are of this. I haven't tested it fully, but there you go, in case you need some extra room. And with that, I think that's a pretty good set of tips to help get you started in LeMay. Now, there was a couple of things I tried in this one, like doing light commentary, which I'll be honest, I kind of hated doing. Things are a little less coherent whenever I'm doing things live. But I want to hear from you. I want to know your tips and tricks that you have. I do plan on making another one as we keep going further into LeMay. I just finished the first city, so there's lots of things for us to learn as we continue on this journey. So, in the comments, put down your tips that you want to see. Maybe help somebody else out, and maybe I'll feature them in the next video as well. So let me know what you liked and didn't like about this. This is the first time I've ever done a tip video, so I have no idea. I have nothing to go off of. One tip I should have put in there is the medical items. However, Mad Pigger Games put out an awesome text guide on how to use medical items. I do plan to do a medical guide video just on its own because it's kind of a lot to go over. But the article that Mad Pigger Games put out is really good to go off of too. So I will put that in the description for you so you can check it out. With all that out of the way, I want to say if nobody's told you today, I want you to know that you matter. And I hope you have a fantastic day. See you in the next one.